Everything is dual. Everything has its poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but differ in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. There will be chapters involved if you care to jump around. We will be covering a little XRP, a little XLM, a little Algorand, a little Quant. Chapters are there for you. It is easy to strive for the benefits of power while overlooking their great responsibilities. If you are meant to be a leader, seek wisdom over riches. Those with power and no wisdom often lose it. Those with wisdom and no power often gain it. Let's begin right here. Let's talk about the global debt. Everything will be tokenized. And who are they going to trust with the tokenization of such value more than those assets, than those technologies that the central banks themselves trust? And oh, they love us. They adore what the bank coins can bring to the table. Ripple is on the IMF's advisory board. Ripple is also on the Faster Payments Council, as well as the Faster Payments Task Force. Also the Digital Pound Foundation, the Digital Euro Association. We are everywhere. Stellar has sat on so many different panels with governments around the world and with central banks. As a matter of fact, Meridian is coming up and we have a meeting. Well, not a meeting, but we're going to be having a discourse with the head of the CFTC, Caroline D. Pham. Do I even need to talk about Algorand and Quant? We all know how beloved they are by the governments and central banks. Let's talk about the tokenization of debt. If we even take a piece of this amount, and don't worry, I'm going to drop that number on your head. Matter of fact, let's not delay. Global debt. This is the total amount of debt, including that accumulated by governments, which, keep in mind, that's only going to go up. Oh, this is getting too good. Corporations and households. And I believe they know that. I believe by proxy, a lot of entities are going to go heavy into the bank coins. I believe that by proxy. So you're not going to know who has what. This is always the way that it is. I know so many people want to believe that the ones they look up to, you know, the powers of the world are above board. I know it brings you great comfort, but I see through them. Many of us do. They don't play by the rules. And I believe that they're running up the debt for a myriad of reasons. The world debt is crushing. The United States debt by itself is mind-blowing. One reasoning behind that is to crush the old system, to collapse it so you can bring in the new financial system. Of course, we all know that. But the other reason is when you tokenize those amounts, and trust me, there's going to be a lot of money made, buying and selling debt. That's already been happening, but it will not happen on such a massive scale as it will in the future via these bank coins. The distributed ledger technologies, Hashgraph, blockchain, HBAR, XRP, XLM, they make the opportunity to buy and sell debt so easy, so mind-blowingly lucrative. There is not an individual on this planet, I think, that will pass up that opportunity. So I think also they're running up the debt because of that. They know what's to come. It says, including that accumulated by governments, corporations, and households together, it adds up to $253 trillion. Let me say that again. You didn't hear me. I'm spitting, but you ain't hearing me though. We hold these assets. XDC. Many brilliant minds behind XDC have told you all in a brilliant way about the tokenization of everything. The tokenization of everything. And also brilliant minds behind XDC told you there is no limitation on the price that XRP can go to, or XLM, or any of these liquidity tokens, save for what they want to issue and tokenize on those blockchains. There is no limitations. All we need now is for everything to continue to go according to plan. And so far, I said, so far, so good. $253 trillion. I need a piece. I want a piece. I have to have a piece. That's why I'm so ferocious when it comes to the bank coins. I'm ready. But given a little bit more time, I might be a little bit more greedy. It's right there. I can't tell you how to feel. I'm not here to sway you this way or that. I'm simply sharing what I find in a little piece of my mind. $253 trillion. On a serious note, that is unbelievable. We will, even if we take a little piece of that, we will take a modicum of that, and that will make those prices explode like you wouldn't believe. Who else did it? Who do the governments trust more than XRP right now? Who do they trust more than Algorand right now? Algorand, MIT, the Fed, Ripple, the digital dollar, the Fed, Hedera, MTech, the Fed. Man, we could keep going. The facts are there. Oh, I'm fired. I'm excited. Sorry, I just did a little workout. Oh, and I got another one coming after this video, by the way. Make sure you're staying healthy. That's not health advice. This is not health advice. Make sure you're staying healthy. Drink your water. You know, if you need to see medical attention, things like that, make sure you talk to a medical professional. Keep your mind healthy as well as your body. A little meditation, a little stretching goes a long way. I like to look out for my people out here. All my people are you subscribers here. Want to make sure you're good to go. Eating healthy goes a long way. There's some brilliant places out there selling you some really, really great food. Nutritious. But make sure when you are feeding your body nutrition, you also feed your mind. That's where the true strength is found. $253 trillion broad money. The total value of the world's money is at this particular time was $95.7 trillion. Of course, we're a little bit above that now. This includes coins, banknotes, money, market accounts, as well as saving, checking, and time deposits. $95 trillion. You already know we're going to take a huge piece of that. A huge piece of that. Quant is in bed with over 500 banks. Now, the capacity to which they use them, we have to wait to see. But because of SIA Chain and SIA Partners, we are in the door. And also with Quant, because of the connection with LAC Chain, which is bringing some banks to the table, we're in bed with even more banks. There's only 13 million Quant. You think $1,000 Quant is hard? You like my phony laugh? I've been trying to work on a few different ones. Like, or, that's more like a villain. I don't know. Anyway, what were we talking about again? It's only like 13 million Quant. You think that $1,000 is hard? You see what Bitcoin is doing? Bitcoin, no disrespect to Bitcoin. No, make your money where you have to. I'm just making a comparison. That's all. You see where Bitcoin's price is? It doesn't have a quarter of the utility that Quant does. Or partnerships. It's just a matter of time. But see, I get it. A lot of people are not patient. That's perfectly fine with me. I'm ready. You see where Quant's price is right now? You see how it exploded? We loaded up. I like to say this all the time because this is why it's important to know the catalyst. When I started covering Quant way back when we were talking about it, $40. And I told people Quant is going to explode. Didn't I say that? I said it loud and clear because the catalysts were there. And it was only a matter of time before other people start finding out about Quant. Corporations, companies, before too much was happening. And then the rest of the world and a lot of other bigger news writers and so-called content creators learned about it and started talking about it more. And I told people, I said, Quant is going to explode. $40, $44. Same thing I told people when Zilliqa exploded earlier this year. We took great profit off that. It's because of the catalyst. You have to look for the catalyst and you'll know when something's going to go up. So from $40, we collected a ton of Quant and then it's skyrocketed. Now it's even in a bear market. Everything's bloody. Quant was what, like 160? What is it? 156 down, 158. Either way, we're up and we're winning. All we do is win, 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 no matter what. Money on my mind. What's the other lyric? I don't even know. Fill in the gap. I don't know what the other lyric is. Oh man, look at this money we're talking about. We didn't even get into the articles yet. Don't worry. It's a jam-packed video this time around. You're probably wondering why I released 2 videos today. That's because that video was actually the one I released this morning was an early access video for the members only section. They were able to watch that yesterday. And I put a little thing on the thumbnail to let people know, like, hey, this is going to be released tomorrow, 10 a.m. You get to watch it first. And they did. They got to watch it first. That's how that goes. Okay. Now, this is for stock markets. We're already beginning to tokenize securities. If you look at what LCX is doing, bringing the legacy system deeper into, or rather the tokenization of the legacy system deeper into the DLTs, they're specializing in the tokenization of securities. So we're going to be taking a chunk of that value. So let's take a look at that money. 89 at this particular time. Japan Exchange, NASDAQ, NYSE, Hong Kong exchanges, Euronext, Shenzhen Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, Saudi Stock Exchange, TMX Group, and all other exchanges, which account for 21.2%. All together total at this time, of course, this is probably a little bit higher now, $89.5 trillion. What is it going to do to the price of any of these bank coins that's involved in the tokenization of securities? And I believe we will be very deep in that. I mean, who are they going to trust more? Like I said, the central banks trust us. The commercial banks trust us. The governments trust us. The private banks trust the bank coins. We know from all the meetings, we've even seen presentations. All right. No one. They're going to trust us. And that value is going to flow through these blockchains. In my humble opinion, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to be. Make up your own mind. You do your own research. I'm just a humble researcher. That is all. But we will take a huge chunk of this, $89.5 trillion. What is it going to do to the price of XRP if we take a piece of that? What's it going to do to the price of XLM if we take a piece of that? And I believe that we are. The oldest bank in Europe issued their stablecoin on Stellar. I was saying this the other day, but I wasn't so thinking as clearly as I am now. And I did the research to make sure I get all the information correct. This time around, it was Bankhaus van der Hoyt, right? Bankhaus van der Hoyt. Now, one of the reasons they gave for utilizing Stellar to issue their stablecoin on was the easeability of issuing assets on Stellar. That was one. And number two, the amount of control that they have. Because with Stellar, you can control everything. Everything. They love that. Now, if that's the oldest bank in Europe, the most respected, no URL, the most respected. If that is the most respected bank in Europe, you don't believe that they have influence over all of the other lesser banks, the banks with lesser prestige? You don't believe that they want to walk in the footsteps of the influence of the largest bank, which has been one of the most successful? Of course, of course. However, like I said many times, those non-disclosure agreements don't last forever. They don't. Our time is coming. Tick tock, our time is coming. We will take a piece of this for all of those reasons. Scroll up a little bit. I mean, gold, world's gold at this particular time was worth, and of course it's probably a little bit more than this now, as there are huge amounts of gold being uncovered, particularly in Africa. Oh, Africa's going to, they're going to do so well. And I'm so glad that there are parts of Africa rebelling against the legacy system. I really am. And I'm glad that there's parts of Latin America rebelling against the legacy system. I'm all about rebellion and freeing yourself. Not letting people put these manacles and, you know, and chain you up. That's what they want to do. They come in with a smile and a deal, and you shake it, you shake that hand, you take that deal. They're going to control you. You will never thrive the way that you want to thrive. You will never live the way you want to live because you have someone else telling you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. When they don't even live where you live, they don't even understand the dynamics that you have to deal with. I've never been a supporter of something like that. Never. I'm all about freedom, true freedom. So gold, anyway, at this particular time was worth $10.9 trillion, and we're already beginning to move small bits of the value of gold. You have like Pax gold and all this other tokenized gold. It's just I don't think a lot of people have utilized that yet. So what happens with some of the offerings of gold? Let's say you want to protect your value and you're trying to buy gold on the blockchain. Well, you buy that particular token or coin, whatever is considered, and then only with certain offerings, of course. All right, there may be some that are different. And so now you own a piece of that value, right? You can even buy fractionalized pieces, of course, but they send you a certificate. And I believe that, and this is also the same way with diamonds, because, you know, there are certain entities trying to tokenize diamonds at this particular time. But with that certificate, you can redeem that material. You can redeem it. I don't know that you should. I don't know that you should. You better have somewhere to protect it, but they allow you to redeem that. So if you redeem that based on that that certificate that you have, then they will send you your diamond. They will send you your gold, right? Once more, I don't know that you should do that because the wolves are out. It's a bad time in the world. You better not tell anybody. I tell you that. Protect yourself at all times. Get yourself some security cameras or something. Get yourself some pit bulls or something. Oh, man. So I'm having a good time with everybody here today. I'm going to tell you what. Let me share just a quick story, can I? And then we're going to get into this article here about Quant. Then we have an article on XRP. I want to share this story about pit bulls since I said it. I remember one time my friend and I, we were walking home. And it was after school, of course, and all the children in front of us, me and my friend, we're walking like in the back of the group. I'm not about big groups at all. I do my own thing. So we're walking in the back of the group and we just hear this barking. Arr, 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 arr. Let me tell you something. I turned around, my friend turned around, and we looked. And we saw the biggest, most muscular pit bull. You know those pit bulls that they allow. There's a lot of people, they do certain things with their pit bulls to get them hulked up. I'm just going to say that. But they also allow them you just have that pit bull. He's just running on a treadmill. Yes, people do that. And they're just running on a treadmill all day, getting strong until it's just muscle on muscle. Yeah, one of those was just running towards, I mean, full blast. And I remember thinking to myself, there's no time to turn and run. The street is too long. There's only one thing to do. That's it. I didn't even have a chance to be afraid. That's how I felt. I remember it like it was yesterday. I didn't even have a chance to be afraid. I thought to myself, I said, we're going to have to stand our ground. Stand our ground. We're going to have to fight this pit bull. Now, I will say that I'm not beyond carrying protection. I'm not beyond that. And I thought to myself, well, when this pit bull gets up here, if it launches an attack, I'm going to have to defend myself. That's what I'm thinking this whole time. Now, all of this is happening in a few seconds. You don't have a long time. It's about to be on us. And I remember just looking, I put my hand on my protection. That's number one. And I remember my friend, I turned to the right. This man, I'm like a track star. This man took off running. Down, I'm talking about, I've never seen this person run this fast. This person was not an athlete like that. I did all the fighting for us. This person was not an athlete, took off like they were Deion Sanders. I'm like, boom, just down the block. And I looked, and I was like, you're going to pay for that later because we're going to do some sparring later, bro. I'm going to make you pay for that run. But I stood my ground, and the pit bull got up and just like right in front of me, just stopped, just like that, like still aggressive and everything. I'm not really making too much eye contact. I know how that goes. Don't do that with a pit bull. And I remember it just ran across the street. There was like a little store, a little bodega, and it just ran across the street. I don't know what turned it away, but I'm thankful that nothing bad came out of that, but I will never forget that moment. Anytime I hear pit bull, I think about that moment. And I love pit bulls also. I wouldn't want to do anything to an animal, but you have to fight back sometimes, man. It don't matter what animal it is. If it attacks you, you have to defend yourself, defend your life. So anyway, after all of this, saying all of that, let's get to the first article. Oh, man. So this one here is about Quant. It's from U.Today, and it reads, Q&T cryptocurrency up 80%. Let me repeat that. It's up 80%. And this is nothing. This Quant is an easy. This is not even my prediction. This is not even my number. It's an easy $1,000 coin. It was at just off of retail before. It was what, $438? Somewhere mid $400 was the all-time high. Something like that, I believe. You know, make sure you look it up for yourself. You can see those numbers for yourself. This is an easy $1,000 coin, without a shadow of a doubt. And they're attending CBOS. We covered that yesterday in that video. Oh, not yesterday, the video I released this morning. which was released yesterday for the members only section. But we covered that in there. They're attending to meet with more clients, to meet with more banks. This is what they said themselves. Did you read the article? They're meeting with more clients, more banks, and more partners. They separated all of them. They specified. Quant is they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing extra. They're outworking everybody. This is what I want to see in a company. Hard work. Outwork all of them. Even if you're a genius, and Gilbert Verdian is definitely, in my humble opinion, is a genius. Just like Lehman Baird of Hedera. But they said, no, that's not enough. We don't just want to outthink you. We're going to outwork you. And they have. This year has been such an insane year for Quant. Just imagine when the bull run is back. Do your own research. You don't have to take my word for it. Do your own research. You know, I encourage people to question everything I say. Look it up for yourself. Question everything I say. Question everything everyone says. Look it up for yourself. Know for yourself. There's nothing better than knowing for yourself. Disagree with me because I can learn from you. No problem. I have no problem with those types of things. Because I read what someone says, I absorb that wisdom. I know they have a different experience than I do. And I take that in. And I appreciate when someone shares their thoughts with me. A lot of people in the members only section share their thoughts with me underneath the videos. I love it. I want to learn. I want to know your experience because all our experiences are different. So I'm always willing to learn. So, yes. And then it says, here's why it's not the limit. Of course, article. Who wrote this article? Gamza Kenzadayev. Good job. Good job. We're on the same wavelength, the same vibration. No, it's not the limit. It can go higher. Much higher if people really knew what it can do. Quant Network's cryptocurrency QNT continues its ascent despite the generally uncertain, rather depressed state of the crypto market. I just said almost the same thing. I didn't read this beforehand. I just read the header, the headline. Having added more than 20% in value in the past week, QNT's overall increase since the beginning of fall is already 80% money. Muy linda, mi gente. Money. We haven't said the money song in a long time. One more time. Money. Oh, I'm feeling real good. I just did a crazy workout. I got the heart. I pushed myself until the muscles started to burn. I pushed myself some more. That's what my coach, one of my coaches when I was younger used to say. All the time in practice, he used to say, well, how did he phrase it? That the work doesn't begin until the muscles start to burn. That's when you really started working. That's when it really begins. When the muscles start to burn. And it just has benefited me to work that way. Outwork everybody. Push yourself a little bit harder. A particular pump for QNT quotations lately is also given by CBOS, the largest conference. I was just talking about this. See, everybody that knows. But I read about CBOS from Quant.network itself. They have a mind-blowing article on there. and the craziest part is they may come out of there with more announcements. They may come out of there with more banks. You know what? I don't even have to go much further into this article. Quant and Mr. Verdian keep doing a good job, and I'm excited, very, very excited. Now, Quant will be one of the most explosive coins, and just in my humble opinion, you don't have to buy Quant. I'm not telling you for you to go buy Quant at all. Like, I'm just sharing what I found. The Quant is in with the banks, like all the bank coins. The banks are going to make that price go so high, it's ridiculous. Well, stand to. There's no guarantees, of course. But that's what I'm here for the bank money. It doesn't matter to me if you buy Quant or not, okay? I like to always clarify that. You have to. Let's move on to the second article here, all right? We're taking our time today. We're having a little bit of fun, doing a good, doing some good. Ripple co-founder, this is from U.Today also. Ripple co-founder says why he admires Charles Hoskinson. I'll tell you what, I don't agree with Mr. Hoskinson on everything. He came out the other day, if you watched that video earlier, he came out the other day and spoke positively about XRP. Thank you, Mr. Hoskinson. But I'll tell you what I do like. He's a fighter. He's a warrior in a different life. Me and Mr. Hoskinson could have gotten in the ring and we could have sparred a little bit. A little wrestling or something like that. Or, you know what? If you want to be really go out there. You know that sport where they have where you dress up in knight's gear, and you have so they give you a sword and a shield, but you're fully dressed in armor, and they let you just go at it. Have you seen that? Oh, and they're smashing each other with the butt of the sword, just boom, boom. In another life, me and Mr. Hoskinson, I would have stood on the opposite ring of you, sir, and it would have been an honor to face you in that. You got the heart of a warrior. I like that. I respect it. I like that in everybody I see. When they have the heart of a fighter, a warrior, a survivor, it don't matter who you are, man, lady, it don't matter. Even animals. I like animals that have heart, not ones that run away. I don't like that. I like toughness. I do. I respect it. Maybe it's probably because of my people, my father, my people. Like I said, it's not a joke. I come from a warrior family, you know. You had to know how to be tough. Simple as that. You just had to. You were going to box. That's mandatory. You're going to have to box. It don't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. You better learn how to box. You're going to learn. I remember being younger and my mom hitting the punching bag. You know, my dad showing my mom how to box, throw jabs, stuff like that. And my mother, oh yes, my mother has hands, as the people say. So yeah, I like that. I respect that. It says the co-founder and executive chairman of Ripple, Chris Larsen, stated why he admires the creation of Cardano, despite the small dispute the developer had with the XRP community shortly after giving an interview. In his most recent speech, Charles Hoskinson was asked to give his opinion. Why am I reading it like that? I don't know. It's kind of fun. Give his opinion on the most recent action of the SEC that affected Ripple, certain influencers in the space, and the cryptocurrency industry in general. Says, here's the quote, the tweet from Chris Larsen. I agree with Charles on the larger point at hand. There is no regulatory clarity on how to classify and use crypto in the US, which is why the SEC is using regulation by enforcement to bring all crypto under their remit. This affects us all. Also, they're lazy. Also, they just want names and fame, as you saw, as they almost had a mutiny. They were turning on themselves, as a lot of people in their inner circle didn't appreciate Gary Gensler trying to get famous with the news that was coming out about the attacking by the SEC of Kim Kardashian. They didn't like that. They didn't like that. Gensler has completely forgotten about the goal at hand. He's just seeking fame at this point. At least that's one of the things that a lot of people have a distaste for. Let's continue on here. Separately, some may not be aware, but Charles has been instrumental in crypto, plus climate initiatives. Mr. Hoskinson has done a lot of good work. He definitely has. Specifically researching and developing code for proof of useful work. Oh, here's a random thought. Listen, anybody out there, never feel like you can't get in the boxing ring and learn. First of all, there's a lot of good pros out there willing to teach you. They offer classes, especially in New York City. A lot of pros are in the gyms and they offer really, really good classes. They're pretty affordable, such like that. We're talking multi-time champions, also, of course, you know, and they will teach you the fundamentals, the basics. It's quite fun. Also, a lot of the gyms, you know, at least this is how it used to be. I don't know what they do now. At least it used to be have open, like they have open tournaments and stuff like that. Like every few months or so, they have open tournament. You can just get in there and spar. Let's say you're just a warrior. So, you know, you can sharpen up on some of your warrior ability. I mean, you know, some of us are getting older, so, you know, you may not want to do that, but you can still learn. So what I'm saying is never feel like you can't learn. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a lady. Never feel like you can't learn. Oh, I'm a lady, I can't learn. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I know multi-time champions that are ladies that multi-time champions. All right. So, never feel like you can't do something. You can do anything you want to do. Anybody can be strong. You just have to work at it. Don't have any fear, just like climbing. Anybody can climb. All right. It takes some time to learn. And yes, it can be scary. Yes, you're going to fall. Okay. Don't let anybody tell you now. You're going to fall and probably fall from a decent height at some point, because you're going to go for one of those holes where you have to have 2 fingers or 3 fingers. You may not have the strength. You're going to miss it. Boom. You're going to take flight. And it's quite hilarious, by the way, as long as nobody gets hurt. But never feel like you can't. You can't do something. You could do whatever you want to do, right? That was a random thought, but I think it was a good thought. Here we go. Okay, specifically researching and developing code for proof of useful work, a way for Bitcoin to become a carbon negative chain. I appreciate you engaging on this important issue. So there's support there. Like I said, we are not enemies, utility coins. We all will be working together. All of that value will flow one into the other. I think Cardano, if it continues on this course, will play an important part in the future, but we have to wait and see. Give it some time. They're still developing a lot of things. They do have some good projects going on. I don't hold any Cardano. I took profit long ago. But I do think that they will be a potent one. Never forget their utility based on scan trust for traceability, similar to what VeChain does. And they have a lot more that they can do also. Keep in mind, also, Cardano is deep in Africa. I think Cardano will surprise a lot of people. And Charles Hoskinson's fighting heart and never giving up and continuing to build and develop and advance things, I think that's going to come in handy in the future. People won't see it now, and they don't need to, but they will regret it and cry later when that price explodes on ADA. So I like this coming together. Also, I've said this before, there's too much tribalism in crypto. And the crypto industry, it should be ashamed of itself how they cannibalize each other, constantly attacking each other. Then they have to also, on top of that, deal with the attacks from the legacy system. Wouldn't it be wiser until you're in a solidified position to band together and fight the opposition, to fight the enemy? Your greatest enemy is the legacy system. So you really don't have time to cannibalize each other, but this is the ignorance that pervades the world. People on the come up attacking each other. So there's just a little too much of that. So it makes sense when you understand that and you see how many people attack Charles Hoskinson, defaming his name and stuff like that, and going against Cardano and defaming Cardano and saying negative things about Cardano when it's really unnecessary. Make your money. You're taking your eye off the ball. Focus on making money. This is why so many people don't end up where they want to be or wind up fumbling the ball or bag, as the youth say today, fumbling the bag of money. Because they take their eye off the ball. You have hard work to do. You should be trying to make more money every week. But see, you take your eye off the ball and you say, well, this is good. This is enough. And that's why you never reach the stars. You only hit the moon. The moon? To hell with the moon. Forget the moon. Let's go to the stars. I want to see different galaxies. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm going with this? You have to work hard every week, every day. You do a little bit better. If not more, you can be more efficient. So you made 100 grand in this last 2 weeks. I love it when people, you made 100 grand. Okay, so can we make 200 grand in the next 2 weeks? Let's double it. If you don't believe, see, look deep inside yourself. You don't believe you could double that 100 grand. There's something you can do. There's more phone calls you can make. There's more meetings you can sit down in. Close some new deals, bring in some new clients. Find a new avenue to advertise. You can always do a little bit more. It's just about how hungry you are. You have to be hungry for it. You have to outwork everyone. Go a little bit further. Sit down and think for a while. Remember, work the mind also. Try to come up with new thoughts, new ideas. Be more creative. There's always something one can do to advance, is what I'm trying to convey. So now, I got a little air. Once again, every time I talk a lot, I get air like stuck in here. So now let's move on to this little bit about Stellar. I thought this was interesting, this little post. And keep in mind, I'm waiting for them to just drop information on us from Meridian. I'm going to feast on that information from Meridian. But look at this, advertising. Yes, Stellar, advertise. Take some of that money from the liquidation of Lumens and put a billboard in Times Square. Put billboards everywhere. Reach out to Algorand if you need some pointers or something. They're more than willing to work with anyone. We're all in this together. But look at this advertisement here. Meridian. Down here, it's a Stellar with Danelle Dixon standing right in front of it. Stellar Development Foundation. This is great. This is good. Random people walking around will read this and it will put Stellar on the map for them. Then not only that, when you have these big events, you have a lot of big time people, CEOs, COOs, celebrities, and they're just walking around these cities, right? Some of them incognito, but they're walking around the cities and they might not be privy to Stellar, right? To all the intricacies of Stellar. They're just at the event to try to make some partnerships, speak a little bit. You know how it is. Like, I've been to many events where I'm speaking on something or, I'm doing a particular type of work, but I don't necessarily care about the overall theme of the event. I might be there just to speak to like one person. I've done that a couple times. I'm at this event, I'm doing certain work, but it was just to make certain contacts. And then those contacts develop into business partnerships. So you have people like that, and they may be walking through this area as you see Danelle Dixon is, and see that and say, you know what, let me look into Stellar. They're hosting this Meridian event. I'm here for it. Let me look into this and see really what it's all about. Now, don't get me wrong. You might say to yourself, well, some people will be in the audience and they're going to listen anyway. It doesn't always work that way. People are on their phones. They're taking up with conversation, whispering to each other. Like, there's so much happening at some of these events. You will be surprised. So, but what I'm saying is this is very, very good to have this advertising. I want to see more advertised everywhere, from the suburbs to the cities. You want to bank the unbanked? Let's get some of this. And I get it. I think they're still trying to lay low until the SEC thing is over. But I understand that. But once it is over and Ripple wins this case, I want to see an explosion of Stellar everywhere. But this is very, very good. I was happy to see this. So that's why I included it. And Danelle Dixon looks happy, looks fired up, looks refreshed. That's what you need right before a fight, right before a battle, right before a big event. You need your fighters fresh and ready to attack, ready to close deals, ready and have the sharpest mind possible to convey the information to these people. Because I don't see Meridian any different than I see Cbos with Quant. Quant let it be known. We're going there to talk to partners. We're going there to talk to clients. We're going there to talk to the governments. We're going there to talk to banks. And they said that almost verbatim. You can read it for yourself. Meridian is the same. Danelle's going to be talking to partners, talking to potential new clients, talking to governments, regulators. This is the big one. This is a big deal. So let's move on here. So then we have some Algorand news. Says, learn more about At Planet Watch SAS Global Air Quality Monitoring Network built on Algorand. I told you, traceability. We're going to go deep into traceability because of the green agendas. First, it starts out voluntary, but the tracking of it, you have to have some sort of enforcement at some point. That will come based on fines. You polluted the air too much, you're going to get a fine. You will pay that over the blockchain. It'll be near instantaneous. Or, unfortunately, with certain governments around the world, they may just remove that right from your account. You know, with certain mechanisms that they may input onto their CBDCs, they could just remove that. Oh, you use too much. You polluted the air too much. You used too much carbon. You used too much. There's too much gas fumes going into the air. They will just remove that. Fine you. Here's your fine. Here's the reasoning for the fine. All that's transferred over to blockchain, over something like Algorand, and then they just remove that value. But here's what's important for us. That's a large amount of value flowing across the Algorand or any DLT. And that's a consistently high volume because they're constantly going to be monitoring. And keep in mind, a lot of corporations are not going to be able to keep up. So they're just going to pay the fines. The fines may not begin as massively as they will become. So if they're low in numerical value or low priced fines, some corporations are just going to pay it. They're going to continue to pollute, continue to do what they want, and just pay the money until it gets to be too much, and then they might comply. That's typically how things go. Which means, once more, a consistently high volume moving across Algorand and a consistently respectable value. I could even say high value if we're talking in comparison to the price of Algo right now. You know, and then what does it do to that price if that were to occur? These are things that you got to take into account. So this is great. So it says, this is from the World Economic Forum. You know what? I forgot that this was posted by them with Algorand. World Economic Forum. This smart sensor is forming a global air quality map, which means they're tracking it, obviously, to protect you from dangerous pollution levels. How are they going to enforce it? Tell me how. How are they going to enforce it? Fines. Taxes. That's how. That's how. Learn more about sensors detecting air pollution around the world. This is built on Algorand by the World Economic Forum. I told you. Everything happens in degrees. But if the World Economic Forum chooses you, they're going to push you at some point. It's just a matter of when that part of their agenda comes into play. Sort of like what I was saying with cello. You move different parts, You move your different chess pieces depending on the strategy that you need to employ now. So now I might need to move a knight. Next move, I may need to move a bishop. And then later on, I move the queen. So this is sort of what they're doing. So it's not all going to happen all at once for all of them. Well, based on what the World Economic Forum wants, they will all have their part to play at different times. So now let's move forward here a little bit. More from, oh no, this is not Algorand, my apologies. XDC. It's from the XDC Foundation. At Impel Official and Fluent DAO strategic partnership will help deliver innovative software solutions on hashtag XDC network, enabling traditional banks. They're bringing in the banks, more banks on XDC, enabling traditional banks and financial institutions to benefit from DeFi using hashtag DLT. XDC knows what they're doing. They have Overledger, right? So you have Quant as Overledger, then you have XDC, you have XRP. They know that a lot of that XRP money will flow out of XRP. XRP also can be used in trade finance. Then they have built great partnerships in trade finance. It will flow out of XRP and XDC, and the value will flow from out of XDC into XRP flawlessly, smooth. But this is why I always say this is one system that we are witnessing rise. Most people are viewing it in pieces. But the proper way is to take what the actual pushers and makers of these protocol have been saying and abide by that, which is interoperability. And if you have interoperability, they are all one system. Just like I've said this before, all the banks in the world, they work together. Albeit some of them are better at revenue management than others and more successful than others, but they all form as one what? Banking system. Well, the new financial system is one as well. I think it's going to take some time for people to come to that realization, but that money will flow out of one protocol into the other, just like it does from one bank to the next. That's how it goes. The new financial system is one. So this is very, very good for XDC, who will be moving trillions of dollars because of trade finance. And also they are another beloved coin of the World Economic Forum, had an entire page written on them. And then because of Overledger and their connection with Quant, just imagine if those banks that are utilizing Quant also decided to have some of that value flow through XDC Zenfin. And we know that Zenfin is willing to work with almost any high-level client. They're willing to accommodate them. They are one of the most flexible in the distributed ledger technology field. And they are one of the most hungry at bringing in new partners and partnerships. I love that about XDC. So now let's continue on here. HBAR continues its advertising explosion. This is from the HBAR Foundation. Engage below if you are a Hedera hashtag HBarbarian and a fight fan. Comment hashtag KC36 and follow at Karate Combat to automatically be entered to win one of 5 tickets to their next event. This is great. So you have Karate Combat 36 and they are advertising here. You see right at the bottom of the poster, Hedera. People are going to walk in there and say, what is this Hedera? They already know the fighters. They're there for them. They know the league. But then they look at the advertisement and they say, well, what is this Hedera? And they look into it. A lot of business individuals attend fights. They love fights. And they will see this and say, what is Hedera? And they may look into it. And that looking into it could lead to new people holding HBAR, which is good. Every little bit is good. Or it can lead to businesses, large businesses or small businesses wanting to build on Hashgraph or utilize that technology to some capacity. Whether they build on it or they have someone else build on it or they just utilize an offering that was already out there. This is very, very good. We've seen a huge uptick in advertisement by Hedera, and I'm very, very happy with that. I think we're going to see even more, especially because of their governing council. They've added more powerful entities, including, I think it was a few banks we covered recently, added to their governing council. Don't quote me on that, but you guys saw the video, and you can definitely go onto Hedera's website and check out their governing council for yourself. But they brought in even more powerful entities to their governing council. So when there is regulatory clarity, I think that they're going to explode in advertising, and that advertising is going to lead to an explosion in price for HBAR. 100%. Now, that's just a flood. That's not the tsunami. The tsunami comes later when the banks choose or the Fed chooses specifically to utilize HBAR to any capacity. That's how I feel about that. Now let's continue on here. This article is from Crypto Briefing, and it goes as such. 4 signs a digital dollar is coming and why you should care. We've known this for quite some time. Others don't believe, but we don't need them to. Ripple is working, or rather assisting with the development of the digital dollar. Whether XRP will be used to utilize to any capacity, we don't know just yet. I believe it will, though. That's my humble belief. Okay. I believe XRP will, because they have a patent for on-demand liquidity, and all the banks, including and especially the central banks, will need a liquidity cushion. Look how many SDRs the IMF has issued as of late. Did you see that? They've issued more value in SDRs than ever before. Something's wrong. You don't see that? Something's wrong. SDRs are typically used in emergencies. So what's the emergency? Nobody's asking the question, but I am. I see what they're doing. People better be careful with these banks. You better be careful with these banks. Something's going on. I told you, the banking industry is in trouble. Big trouble. Look, we covered last video the happenings with Credit Suisse. If they topple, if Credit Suisse has an issue and they can't make that merger happen with that other bank to pretty much save them, if that doesn't happen, it will be a domino effect and everybody will feel it. Lehman Brothers all over again. People better be careful with these banks. Be careful with your value. I mean, you can do what you want to do. You can do what you want to do. But I'm going to protect my value at all cost. So now let's continue here with this article here. Key takeaways. First bullet point. As authorities increasingly turn their attention to crypto regulation, several signs indicate that a US CBDC may be on the horizon. That's going to make our pockets explode. XRP will explode. Algorand will explode. Next bullet point. Authorities have warmed up to the idea in the months of, and don't forget Hedera, which MTech is also assisting in the advising and development of the digital dollar. To what capacity they're going to be used, I have to say this every time. We don't know yet. We will adjust accordingly as more information comes out. Authorities have warmed up to the idea in the months since the president's executive order directing dozens of government agencies to develop reports on crypto policy. Next bullet point. While a CBDC would offer some benefits, it could also grant the Treasury and Federal Reserve unprecedented powers over the freedom to transact. It's what they want. It's what they need. I told you before, one of the things that they desire with traceability is because so much money goes missing. They don't tell you about that. They don't tell you about that. Just like in the oil industry, and I think I have a couple of articles on here about that. Just like in the oil industry. Remember last video, the one I released earlier this morning, I spoke about, I believe it was in that video, I spoke about oil and wanting to trace the commodities, wanting to trace where oil is. When did it come up? When did it get pulled out of the ground? When did it get barreled? When did it make it onto the ship? Where is the ship right now? They need to track everything because there's so much that goes missing. They don't want that anymore. There's a huge theft problem. I say it again, there's a huge theft problem and they don't want it anymore. They're losing billions of dollars. And if you add it all up over the years, they've lost trillions of dollars. Who wants that? They don't want that anymore. Another reason why any of these protocols like Algorand, which is deep in South America, might explode because they can be used as a traceability protocol. Another reason why VeChain is going to explode. They need to track and trace these things. So I couldn't find an article about the oil, but they were talking about, I think it was a pipeline. It was a pipeline maybe in Nigeria or something like that. They just discovered that there was oil being stolen from there. At least this is what they're saying. There was oil being stolen from some pipeline somewhere. And it was like 4 years that this theft had been going on of this oil. This is what they want to track and trace. They don't want to lose that type of value anymore. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.